Imagine waking up one morning to discover that Earth had suddenly slammed the brakes on its orbit around the Sun. No more 30 kilometers per second speed. No more graceful path around our star. Just a planet standing still in space. What would happen next? Would we freeze, burn, or maybe both? This is What If, and here's what would happen if Earth stopped orbiting the Sun. The first thing you'd notice wouldn't be fireballs or apocalyptic quakes. It would actually be nothing. For a few hours, maybe even a few days, life would look eerily normal. The sun would still be in the sky, the air would still feel the same, and your phone would still buzz with notifications. But the danger would already be on its way. Why? Because Earth's orbit is what keeps us at just the right distance from the sun. Right now, our planet is locked in a delicate dance between two forces: the pull of the sun's gravity and the sideways speed of our orbit. Remove the speed, and gravity wins. Earth wouldn't just sit there, it would begin falling straight toward the sun. So how long before we hit the fiery center of our solar system? Surprisingly, not instantly. At Earth's current distance of about 150 million kilometers, it would take roughly 65 days for our planet to spiral into the sun. That's just over 2 months to say goodbye to everything we know. But don't think you'd get a relaxing countdown. Life on Earth would unravel long before we touch the sun's surface. During the first week, the sun would look slightly bigger in the sky, and temperatures would rise by a few degrees. You might shrug it off as a heat wave. But as the days tick by, the changes would snowball. Average global temperatures would climb by 30 degrees Celsius, oceans would begin to boil at the surface, and ice caps would melt into catastrophic floods. By week 3, you wouldn't just be dealing with hot days, you'd be suffocating. The atmosphere would warp under the heat, turning the skies into a soup of storms and acid-like rain. Crops would wither, power grids would fail, and food chains would collapse. By the time Earth was halfway to the sun, it wouldn't matter if you lived in the tropics or the poles. Conditions would be deadly everywhere. And here's the cruel twist. Earth wouldn't simply dive smoothly into the sun. As it got closer, the sun's gravitational pull would increase, accelerating us faster and faster. By the final week, the planet would be plunging inward at more than 600 kilometers per second. Earth's crust would buckle, volcanoes would erupt worldwide, and tectonic plates would rip apart like paper. So, could humanity survive this? Or is there any possible way we could stop the inevitable fall? If Earth really did fall into the sun, the final moments would be unlike anything our species or any species has ever seen. The heat would grow so intense that entire oceans would evaporate into the sky. Steel would melt like butter. Concrete would ignite. And the atmosphere itself would burn away in a planetary firestorm. From space, Earth would look like a glowing ember, its surface peeling apart as it raced to its doom. The moon would be dragged along too, likely crashing into us before we even made contact with the sun. By then, Earth would no longer resemble the blue marble we once called home. It would be a ball of molten rock, cracking, collapsing, and finally disintegrating into solar plasma. But could there be a loophole? Could humanity find a way to survive this cosmic free fall? One idea might be escaping underground. Deep bunkers, maybe tens of kilometers below the surface, could buy us a little time from the escalating heat. But eventually, the crust itself would melt, and no shelter could withstand it. Another idea? Flee Earth altogether. If humanity somehow had a fleet of rockets ready, millions of them, we might launch ourselves toward Mars, Jupiter's moons, or even beyond. But think about it. Coordinating a mass exodus of billions of people in less than 2 months is impossible with today's technology. Even if only a tiny fraction of humans escaped, where would they go? Mars would be falling too, since the whole solar system depends on orbital motion. So maybe the question isn't how to survive, but what lesson we'd learn from such a catastrophe. Earth's orbit is more than just a path around the sun, it's a lifeline. The perfect balance of speed and gravity is what keeps us at just the right temperature for water, for life, and for everything we take for granted. Losing that balance reminds us just how fragile our existence really is. And here's something even stranger. If Earth stopped orbiting but somehow avoided falling in, things wouldn't be much better. We'd be locked facing one side permanently toward the sun, like the moon does to Earth. One half of the planet would be scorched by eternal daylight, while the other half would freeze in endless night. Oceans would boil away on one side and freeze into glaciers on the other. The narrow twilight zone between the two might allow some survival, but it wouldn't to be the Earth we know. So what if Earth stopped orbiting the sun? We wouldn't get a second chance. Within weeks, the world would collapse into fire and chaos. And within 2 months, our planet would be nothing more than a smear of dust inside the sun's inferno. But maybe that's why this thought experiment matters. It shows us how lucky we are to be in motion, circling endlessly, held in balance by invisible forces. Without orbit, there is no Earth, no us. Still, what if instead of stopping Earth's orbit, we changed it? What if one day we decided to push our planet farther away from the sun? Would it give us more time to survive, or would it create an icy apocalypse even worse? That's a topic for another What If.